Sometimes when somebody makes a bad decision, does something wrong, and then is confronted by that decision or that error or that misbehavior, whatever it is, sometimes the natural reaction that I've seen, especially amongst folks who are younger, is to say, that's not who I am. That's not really me. Now, there was a point in my life when I used to teach at a Catholic high school in Baltimore before I came here to Elon. And I would hear this often enough, because if you teach high school, you kind of have to do discipline and sometimes enforce the rules. And sometimes high school students don't like the rules to be enforced, especially for bigger things. And so this was a common experience. Somebody would say that. And in moments it felt like they were being defensive or maybe making excuses. But the more that I heard this, the more I really grew to appreciate when somebody said that. That's not really who I am. Good. Good. Because you're right. It's not who you are. Yes, we all do stupid things. Yes, we all make decisions that we regret. Yes, we all sin. That is not who we are. Rather, we are in God's own image and likeness. That is who we are. That is our true and deepest identity. And in the ancient philosophical tradition of our Catholic Church, I don't normally get philosophical, but I will this morning. The great philosophers, Bonaventure, Aquinas, they all point out the obvious. That when we engage in evil or wickedness or sin, that is not who we are. Rather, evil and sin is a distortion of who we are. It's something like a sickness, a destruction, an opposition to our true identity. That to sin is in some way to warp our real self into something unlike who we really are. And so, if we hold this in mind, and there's a reason I'm getting philosophical this morning, because I think this is the way to make sense of what it is that Jesus called Peter, Andrew, James, and John to this morning. I think it's a way to understand our life as a disciple of Jesus, because too often in our culture, there's this sense that if we pursue the life of virtue, if we strive for holiness and righteousness and goodness, if we struggle to try to avoid sin, there's this reputation in our culture, oh, that's no fun. That we've got all these rules, and to follow all these rules is somehow the negation of fun, or something unnatural or not good. Rather, we're told by our culture today, and I think this is a message that young people especially wrestle with, is this idea that if I try to be holy, then you're giving up on your true self. That your true self, we're told, is to go after and to seek and to fulfill every desire that seems to bubble up, every longing, every urge, everything that might otherwise feel enjoyable or pleasurable. We're told, oh, that's how you figure out who you really are. Do all that. But in our Christian tradition, that's not really true. That's not what we believe. Rather, we believe that to be who we truly are is to try and imitate God. That as we seek holiness and virtue, we become more authentically ourselves. Because to imitate God is to become more in God's image and likeness, and that's who you already are. You see the logic built into this. And so if we hold this in mind, it's a little philosophical lesson this morning. If we hold this in mind, suddenly the call of Jesus to James, John, Andrew, and Peter, I think, becomes much more meaningful. They were, what was their profession? Anybody know? Remember? Fishermen. Okay, we're awake. I know it's cold, but we're awake. What did Jesus call them to do? Follow me and I will make you. The job description didn't change, did it? This was their life's work. This was their passion. This was who they are. This was what they loved. This is what they were good at. This is where they excelled. They were experts at being fishermen. And Jesus said, follow me and I will make you even more who you already are. Your expertise, your genius, your experience, your talent, your passion is exactly what I need. I need you to be more who you are. And so I'm simply calling you to grow in yourself, to be more who you are. And in so doing, take that and put it to work in my kingdom. Because who you are has a place. Who you are, who you truly are, fits in. Who you truly are is needed. The life of virtue, the life of holiness, the life of authenticity, becoming more of who you are meant to be and who you truly are. That's what the kingdom of God needs more than anything else. We're not calling people to be holy as some sort of a grand, unnatural transformation of their identity. No, far from it. Become more fully alive and you become more holy. So wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever your passion, your gifts, your talents, whatever gets you out of bed in the morning, do more of that. Because that's what Jesus is calling you to. For Peter, Andrew, James, and John, it was being fishermen. They knew how to do this. This was their passion, their life's work. This was their greatest genius. And by all accounts, they were very good at it. In spite of the couple stories we hear where they were out fishing and they didn't catch anything, the historical record shows that they were actually quite good. What are you good at? What are your gifts and talents? What is your genius? Now, for those of us who have a little bit of white hair, maybe we've already figured this out. For those of us who haven't even thought about white hair, that's the beauty of this moment, of what it is to be at this point in your life. This is the work of this moment, to figure out more fully what your genius, your talents, your abilities, your identity truly is. And so figuring that out, then letting Jesus call you deeper into that. That's the point of this moment in life. That's one of the great glories of being young and figuring out yourself. And the work of true education is precisely this. Liberating yourself, liberating your mind, liberating and training your will so as to become more who you are. Because just as Jesus called Peter, Andrew, James, and John to be more who they are. You're fishermen, I'm calling you to be fishers of men, to serve my kingdom. So likewise, he is calling you to become more fully who you are and to take that, use that, and put it at the service of the kingdom of God where you find yourself. This is what it is to be a disciple. John chapter 10, verse 10, I have come that you may have life and have it more abundantly. The glory of God is the human person fully alive. Your service to God's kingdom is to become more authentically yourself, and then to put that at service of the world.